Hey guys, welcome back to another video tutorial from your channel Aditya Byte. So guys, today's the topic is beta oxidation of fatty acids. Yeah, so today in this video we'll discuss on the overall concept of beta oxidation here, the steps and the ATP is generated, the overall idea of beta oxidation of fatty acid we will discuss in this video. So stay tuned with the video. And one more thing guys, this topic is one of the important topic for bachelor levels as well. Yeah, so now let's begin the video. So guys, the term itself says beta oxidation of fatty acids means the oxidation of fatty acids, any of the fatty acids at the beta carbon position. Yeah, at beta carbon position. Yeah, so this is the idea here guys. We will see the overall concept as well. Furthermore, let's. So guys, the body fat is our major source of stored energy, as we all know guys. Yeah, and fats are usually in form of adipose tissues. Yeah, and it is made up of fat cells, adipocytes here. Yeah, very important term here guys. Yeah, and for general information, as you can see, the typical 70 kg person has about 135,000 kilocalorie of energy stored as fat, and 24,000 kilocalorie as protein, 720 kilocalorie as glycogen reserves, and 80 kilocalorie as blood glucose. So this is the general idea guys, you can mention here. So now the energy available from stored fats is about 85% of the total energy available in the body. Yeah guys, so this is the idea here. Yeah, and this is the general structure of fatty acid, as you can clearly see. Yeah, now let's see the fat mobilization here. Yeah, this is a very important concept here guys. The fats in the adipocytes or adipose tissues are stored in the form of triglycerols. Yeah, and it needs to be broken down into glycerol and fatty acids, because we need to go for the further process of fatty acids here. Yeah, correct. And this breakdown is mainly caused by the enzyme lipase enzyme here, as you can clearly see here. Triglycerols is being converted into glycerol and 3 free fatty acids. Yeah, clear concept here guys. Now let's move on. And it takes place in matrix of mitochondria, very important guys. Here you can see the clear structure of mitochondria here. Yeah, the outer membrane, inner membrane, intermembranous space, the cristae and matrix. This matrix, yeah, the space actually in the cristae. Here only the process of beta oxidation of fatty acids and many other processes like Krebs cycle, ETS cycle takes place. Yeah, now let's move on. Now let's have an overview on beta oxidation of fatty acids. Actually, this process is mainly divided into 3 phases. If you see here, the phase A, B and C. In phase A, transport from adipose tissue to target cells. Yeah, here actually what happens is the triglycerides actually converts into glycerols and free fatty acids. Here the free fatty acids by an enzyme lipase, as we have already discussed. Yeah, and these fatty acids goes in the blood to the target cells. Yeah, through the blood stream goes to the target cell, and from the cell it enters into the mitochondria and then into the matrix, and then further process takes place, we will discuss later on. Yeah, and in phase B, as you can see, entry into cytoplasm and mitochondria, as you can see, from the blood enters into the cell and then into the mitochondria. Yeah, and the third phase is oxidative catabolism inside mitochondrial matrix. The main step occurs here. Yeah, so now let's move on. So this was the overall idea here guys. Okay, so now let's move on. Now let's see about the fatty acid activation. Guys, the free fatty acid obtained from the triglycerides, as we have already discussed, needs to be activated. Yeah, it can't go directly into the matrix of mitochondria and go for the further metabolism. So first it needs to be converted into activated structure, which is called acyl coenzyme A here. Yeah, here as you can see, fatty acid activation allows the fatty acids in the cytosol to enter the mitochondria for oxidation. Yeah, clear concept guys. Combines a fatty acid with coenzyme A to yield fatty acyl coenzyme A that combines with carotene. Yeah guys, this carotene is important term here guys, we will discuss later on also. Yeah, now let's move on. Now let's see actually the process of what the process of fatty acid activation means. Here, as you can see, as we have already discussed, the free fatty acids must be get converted into acyl coenzyme A. Yeah, for that it needs energy in the form of ATP. Yeah, coenzyme A is also needed here, and in is accompanied by an enzyme acyl coenzyme A synthetase. Yeah, very important concept here, guys. We need to understand this, and this activation of fatty acids takes place in outer membrane of mitochondria, yeah, in endoplasmic reticulum and in peroxisome. Yeah, keep in mind, guys. Okay, so now let's move on. Now let's see here the fatty acyl carnitine transports the fatty acid into the matrix. The fatty acid acyl group recombines with coenzyme A for oxidation. Yeah, okay, let's move on. And then again, fatty acid activation is complex, but it regulates the degradation and synthesis of fatty acids. Okay, guys, let's see in detail about this concept here. So now let's see here, guys. Here, as you can see clearly, that let's suppose this is the structure here. Here, as you can see, this is the cytoplasm, this is the matrix. Yeah, this is the outer mitochondrial membrane, and this is the inner mitochondrial membrane. Okay, and this is the intermembranous space. Now let's see the concept here, guys. The acyl coenzyme A here can enter through the outer mitochondrial membrane, as it is permeable because it has some pores which is called porins, yeah, which allow the entry of acyl coenzyme A. But in the inner mitochondrial membrane there are no such entries or no such pores, yeah, so which is impermeable for the acyl coenzyme A to enter. Yeah, so for that there is another process or another mechanism operating here, which is called carnitine shuttle. Yeah, which is called carnitine shuttle here. Very important concept here, guys. So now let's see. Here you can see in the carnitine shuttle what happens is here the acyl in the acyl coenzyme A, the coenzyme A part separates, and with that the carnitine part is added, which is provided by the carnitine palmitoyl transferase enzyme, yeah, which is bounded in the outer mitochondrial membrane. Yeah, understand step by step, guys. And then after to that what happens is this acyl carnitine can easily enter into the matrix through intermitochondrial membrane, yeah, which assists the acyl coenzyme A to enter into the matrix in the form of acyl carnitine. But actually we need acyl coenzyme A, correct? So for that what happens is another enzyme operates here, as you can see, carnitine palmitoyl transferase 2. Yeah, and it what does is it eliminates the carnitine part and again adds the CoA part. Yeah, so finally we obtain the acyl coenzyme A. Clear, guys? Understand one again. Here you can see we have successfully transported, or we have successfully entered the acyl coenzyme A from the cytoplasm to matrix of mitochondria, as you can clearly see here. Yeah, so this was the idea. Okay, because the acyl coenzyme A can't enter into the matrix of mitochondria directly. Yeah, so for this carnitine shuttle operates here. Yeah, this was the idea. Okay, now let's move on. Okay, now let's see the steps, the actual steps operating here. As you can clearly see, these are the steps. First step is oxidation. Yeah, oxidation, or you can say the dehydrogenation as well. As you can see, this is the fatty acyl coenzyme A, correct? In this what happens is this is the alpha and this is the beta carbon, as you can clearly see. Actually, guys, alpha carbon means the carbon which is first to the functional group, yeah, and the carbon which is second to the functional group is called beta carbon. Yeah, this is the idea here, guys. And here you can see removes hydrogen atom from the alpha and beta carbons. Yeah, this is the idea here. Alpha and beta carbons, the hydrogen is being eliminated and forms a trans C double bond C bond. You can clearly see here. Yeah, and reduces FAD to FADH2, and these hydrogen are used up by FAD and forms FADH2. Clear guys? This is the idea here guys. Yeah, now let's move on. Now the second step is hydration. Yeah, second step is hydration. The word special hydration means the addition of H2O molecule, correct? Here you can see it's water across the trans C double bond C, yeah, and forms a hydroxyl group on the beta carbon, as you can clearly see here on the C double bond C. Here the H2O molecule is being added and forms a hydroxyl structure here known as beta hydroxy acyl coenzyme A. Clear guys? So this was the second step of a reaction of the whole process here. Now let's move on. Now let's see the third step, which is a second oxidation. Here what actually happens is again dehydrogenation occurs, or the hydroxyl part is being converted into ketose part. Yeah, it means here oxidation is occurring, as you can clearly see here that the hydroxyl group is being converted into the ketose group. Yeah, and here the NAD plus takes the hydrogen and being converted into NADH plus H plus. Yeah, as you can clearly see, oxidizes the hydroxyl group, forms a keto group on the beta carbon. Correct guys? This is the idea guys. Yeah. Okay, now let's move on. Now the list, but the final position is here in the reaction 4. Here you can see the acetyl coenzyme A is cleaved. Now the cleaving will occur. Yeah, the cleaving between the alpha and beta position, alpha and beta carbon position occurs. Yeah, and occurs and occurs. Yeah, and to form a shortened fatty acyl coenzyme A that repeats steps 1 to 4 of beta oxidation. Yeah, actually what happens is here, as you can clearly see here, from this part the splitting will occur. Yeah, from the alpha and beta carbon, between the bonds of alpha and beta carbon, the splitting will occur, and the resultants are acetyl coenzyme A, and the remaining part is fatty acyl coenzyme A, which is shorter by 2 carbon, of course, because the 2 carbon is being utilized by this acetyl coenzyme A. Yeah, and this cycle repeats guys. This cycle will repeat until the whole carbon or the whole acid is being converted into acetyl coenzyme A, because the main target, guys, focus, because the main target of beta oxidation, after beta oxidation what happens is we have to obtain acetyl coenzyme A. Yeah, correct? This is only our target, acetyl coenzyme A. This is only the target here guys. We'll get to it more clear. Now let's move on. Yeah, now here you can see the beta oxidation of myristic acid, which is a 14 carbon. Yeah, you can take palmitic acid as well, which is C16 as actually C16. Yeah, we'll talk on detail as well. So now let's see guys. Actually, if you see in first step what is happening is oxidation is happening, which will dehydrogenation. It what actually does is between alpha and beta position double bond is created as it is losing or removing hydrogen. Yeah, the same concept as you have already discussed. And then second step is hydration. Now H2O molecule will add up. Yeah, and hydroxyl part is formed, hydroxyl structure is formed. And the third step is oxidation again, which is again the dehydrogenation. Again what happens is this hydroxy group converts into the ketose group. Yeah, as you can see the oxidation is being taking place. Yeah, so this is the idea. And after to that the cleavage will occur. This cleavage is also called thiolysis actually. Yeah guys, this cleavage is also called thiolysis actually. And after to that after the cleavage these structures are formed. Yeah, here you can see these structures are formed after cleavage. As you can see this structure and these structures are formed, and we need this structure which is called acetyl coenzyme A. Yeah, as you can see after the cleavage, as we have already discussed, that the fatty acyl coenzyme A will form having structure shorter by 2 carbon. Yeah, as you can see 2 carbons are here, and 2 plus C12 becomes C14. Yeah, clear concept guys. Again what actually happens is this C12 again goes in the process from 1 to 4 steps all, and again losses 2 carbon from C12 to C10, and this remaining 2 carbon again forms the acetyl coenzyme A again. Yeah, again the same process takes place, and finally we obtain the resultant acetyl coenzyme A, and the total number of acetyl coenzyme A formed is 7 actually here. Yeah, 7 acetyl coenzyme are formed after the whole process of beta oxidation of myristic acid actually here. Yeah, and the total cycles taken, total cycle occurring is 6 cycle. Yeah, so guys, by this concept you can take any fatty acids and apply the beta oxidation, and you can get the required number of acetyl coenzyme A and the cycles. Yeah, this is the idea here, guys. Clear? Now let's move on. Now let's talk on detail about the cycles, about some terms about the cycles of beta oxidation here. Actually, what actually is happening here is, let's know the length of the fatty acids. Yeah, determines the number of oxidations and the total number of acetyl coenzyme A groups. Yeah, suppose if we are taking as we have already taken the myristic acid, which was C14 actually. Yeah, by C14 we obtain acetyl coenzyme 7. Yeah, we have already obtained, and the total cycle taken place is 6. Yeah, now let's see how it came. Yeah, if we see, acetyl coenzyme A is nothing but the half the number of carbon. Yeah, as you can see, 14 half is 7, and the beta oxidation cycles means how many cycles are to be repeated. Yeah, how many cycles are taken place in the process. So for that, what actually you have to do is subtract 1 from half the number of carbon. Yeah, as we have obtained, suppose 14 divided by 2 7 minus 1 6, here is 6. Clear, guys? Again, if we see about the palmitic acid, which is 16 carbon fatty acid, again we obtain 16 half is equals to 8, and 8 minus 1 7. This is the idea here, guys. By this way you can know the actual cycle. Yeah, actual number of cycle, actual number of acetyl coenzyme A obtained by the specific fatty acids. Yeah, keep it in mind, guys, keep it in mind. Okay, this is the idea. Now let's move on. Now let's see the beta oxidation and ATP here. Here actually you can see activation of fatty acids requires 2 ATP. As we have already discussed, activation means free fatty acids gets converted into acyl coenzyme A with the help of energy in the form of ATP. We have already discussed in the earlier few minutes ago. Yeah, and one cycle of oxidation of a fatty acid produces, this is the important term here, guys, one NADH and one FADH. In one cycle we get one NADH and one FADH. Okay, and this NADH produces 3 ATP, and this FADH produces 2 ATP after going in the ETS cycle. Clear here, guys? Yeah, and acetyl coenzyme entering into the citric acid cycle produces one acetyl coenzyme will give 12 ATP. Yeah, and the acetyl coenzyme A obtained by this process goes in the Krebs cycle. Yeah, and after the Krebs cycle it produces 12 ATP. This was the idea here, guys. Understood? The main theme of obtaining acetyl coenzyme A was to make it go in the process of Krebs cycle so that the energy will produce. Getting or not, guys? Yeah, because fats are the huge source of energy for human bodies. Clear? This is the idea here, guys. Okay, now let's move on. Now ATP for palmitic acid or C16, as I have already said. Yeah, you can calculate by that process. Yeah, ATP production for palmitic acid 16 carbon. Activation of palmitic acid needs 2 ATPs. Yeah, as we have already discussed, and 8 acetyl coenzyme A are produced after the end of the process. Yeah, and 8 acetyl coenzyme A produces 96 ATP, because one acetyl coenzyme produces 12 ATP. Yeah, in Krebs cycle. This is the idea here, guys. And 7 oxidation cycles takes place, so 7 NADH and 7 FADH are produced, and 1 NADH produces 3 ATP, so according to that it becomes 21 ATP. Yeah, and 1 FADH produces 2 ATP. So according to that, 7 FADs produces 7 ATP. So as a whole, if we calculate in total this and this, we get the total yield of ATP from beta oxidation of palmitic acid. We get 131 ATP. Yeah, 131 ATP. But 2 ATPs are being invested in earlier process in activation of palmitic acid, as we have already discussed. Yeah, so 131 ATP minus 2 ATP becomes 129 ATP. This is the idea here, guys. Yeah, this is all we have wanted. Yeah, so by this process you can calculate the total amount of ATP generated by any fatty acids. Yeah, any number carbon fatty acids. So this was the idea here, guys, for beta oxidation of fatty acids. This was the idea here, guys. Yeah, so now guys, let's summarize once again, yeah, what we have studied. So guys, we have studied about the beta oxidation of fatty acids. What are these, what are fatty acids, what are triglycerides, and how they are converted into free fatty acids. Yeah, and what are the phases, what are the steps, and what are the ATP amount of ATP, number of ATP generated. Yeah, these all things we have studied here. Yeah, and this was the concept here, guys. The main theme of beta oxidation of fatty acid is to convert it into acetyl coenzyme A. Yeah, acetyl coenzyme A, and after to that it will go in the Krebs cycle. For further processing and generation of ATP. Yeah, so guys, this was the idea, this was the concept for beta oxidation of fatty acid. And go through the video once again if you don't understand, and go through the steps. Yeah, understand clearly step by step. And this was all about, guys, and this is one of the important topic for bachelor's student as well. So focus, concentrate, and make it clear, guys. It is the very easy made video, yeah, on the topic, so you can go through. Yeah, so this was the idea, guys. I hope this video found effectiveness, and you found effectiveness in this video about the beta oxidation, and all the overall concept is being clear to you now. Yeah, so this was the idea. Okay, guys, this was all about. So stay tuned, and yes, do subscribe the channel. Yeah, share the video if you like the video, to share with your friends and colleagues. Okay, so this much for today. Bye bye, guys.